Murder simulators don't cause violence. Come at me, brah. Come at me. Okay, so I'm I'm looking at a bunch of stupid is just incompetent nonsense where people blab and blab and blab against violent video games, and it just annoys the fuck out of me. I mean, it just fuck those guys. Okay, so let me just give you a few targets. Crazy people who want to ban video games. Jim Steyer and the common sense media.org nonsense thing. Also, the and this is a real thing. The International Association of Nannies. I mean, okay. I just want to make something clear. If anyone ever tells you, well, this study shows that banned video games do cause violence, no studies have ever shown a link between violent video games and violent behavior. Now, a lot of people try to point out, well, these people have violent thoughts. Yeah, that's all bullshit. Basically, in 2012, 2015, thereabouts, there was a study where people actually accounted for things and looked at 6,508 graders. Some of them played video games in general. Some of them were gamers but didn't play violent video games. Some of them weren't gamers, blah, blah, blah. The point is, it's like a linguistics test. There's this linguistic mirage that conservatives tend to focus on and pretend that it's real. So, first of all, if I played Mozart and I started asking you questions, some of your questions would have certain words in there that are associated with music, more likely than not. If I showed you a superhero movie, your language might vaguely tilt toward that. If I showed you this and that and that and that, basically that's how people get away with faking an association between violent video games and violent behavior. It's the same thing as in the 1980s in Britain. There was this term coined called video nasties, and essentially people were the conservative equivalent of the conservatives in their country. Now there's politicians called Tory in Britain and Canada, which are essentially like Republicans in America, but the point is, stupid people gave kindergartners a list of titles of movies and asked them, have you seen this? Have you seen this? Have you seen this? And the kids said yes to a third of that. By the time they had this, oh, your kids are watching violent video nasties, violent, cassette tapes at that point. In reality, the study was a stupid a stupid study meant it was a non-scientific. People were just giving kids a list of things and asking them, do you want this? Is this? And people on the left repeated this process. People on the video game side repeated this process with fake titles. People on the video nasty side repeated this process with fake titles, and they got the exact same result. So the kids were not asked, what sort of movies have you watched? And then, oh, this title of a movie is this thing, this title of a movie fits this thing. Here's how we qualify this, here's how we qualify that, blah, blah, blah. No, people fucking messed with the data. And people fucking messing around with data is what gets stupid people permission to enact stupid laws. And it's just dumb as fuck. So, if you have a history of playing violent video games, in reality, in a study of real people who actually frequently played violent video games, it's less likely for people who have a history of playing violent video games to have aggressive responses. If you're not someone who usually plays violent video games, your thoughts might verbalize with violent language. You might have violent ideas in your head in the short term, but nothing will change. The fact that people who play a lot of violent video games are better at managing their aggression speaks volumes as to why we should play more violent video games. We need more violence in our media. We need more violence in our video games. Well, actually, I don't think that Hollywood would understand how to do over-violent stuff, right? I mean, there is a danger that some idiot might watch Logan and think, oh, I'm just gonna randomly put a bunch of blood in my movie, and it's the difference between real horror, adequately placed gore, and just blah, like not very good schlock. Whenever a horror cycle comes up, it typically devolves into this, oh, here's some random thing I'm going to put in my movie. Yeah. And it's gory. Yeah, people are going to watch it because it's gory, not because it's very well paced or very well targeted. But the point is, we need to play more violent video games if we want to control our aggression. If you have a friend who's aggressive, I recommend you give that friend lots of violent video games for them to train their aggression and stuff. This is not a medical. If your friend is more aggressive but has a medical thing, I do not recommend that someone with a medical thing be given violent video games. But the point is, violent video games don't cause violence. It's about fucking time that people apologized for wasting hours and hours and millions of taxpayer dollars in each country around the world on this stupid bullshit. You know? Do something productive, like ending bikie persecution in Australia or something. Or maybe look into the situation in East Kordofan, or recognize Somaliland as a country. I don't know. There's so much stuff you can waste your time on. Don't waste your time on stupid bullshit like this. Please, Republicans. Please, super nannies. Please. Please, please. Oh, also, there are actual fucking episodes of Super Nanny. Which is where a woman literally watches. There's this watches like. Have you ever seen that scene from It where Tim Curry is like watching a kid from the drainage pipe? It's like that. She's like standing on a staircase and just watching from a her eyes are at ground level, her watching a father and his kids playing video games, and she's like, oh my god, I gotta teach these parents basic parentage things, and then she got really upset because some kid had the gall to go outside and play. This kid left the house, and his parents didn't even know that their kid was outside. How can this be? Oh my god. Okay. Please send us. Please call your friends and ask them to call EA or whatever stupid corporate schlock manufacturer you can think of, and ask them to pick more fights with crazy super nannies. Like, EA is just shit, but at least we can just mail them and ask them to pick more fights with super nannies. Like, EA is just dumb. I mean, Mass Effect 4. If you've ever played a Mass Effect game in your life, or any good game in your life, Witcher, whatever, never watch the Andromeda cutscenes. I'm warning you, EA is just shit. It's just shit. But at least we can have them do something for us. Okay. See ya. Oh, also, while you're at it, if you're gonna actually mail EA to pick more fights with super nannies, could you also mail them to please pay people in colleges whose images they are using? EA Sports or whatever. Just pay people in colleges for their image. Or at least have them demand that people in colleges whose faces are being used at least get medical. At least get medical and food funding. I don't know, just free medical at least. Just millions of dollars based on shit. Just free medical. Just free medical. So that's it. That's at least that. At least that. Okay, bye.